Have fun, boys.
We live?
You're about to be.
Say when.
When there is a thing that says YouTube at the top of the page.
All right, it says
be...
meeting is now streaming live on YouTube. I guess that means we're live.
Yes, you are live.
Holy shit. Holy shit?
You're not saying that because about 2 minutes ago, your daughter took a dump, right?
Sorry, this was delayed by 2 minutes because my daughter decided to show her excitement for the Kemba Walker buyout and soon to be signing with the New York Knicks by releasing all of her bowels in the type of fashion that I probably would have done if the Knicks did what the Knicks of old would have done, which is get nervous and trade for the remaining $74 million left of Kemba Walker. The Knicks didn't do that. The Knicks, who 2 years ago, I forget if I ever said this on a pod or wrote it, but like Steve Mills was on the phone with Kemba, it's Jeff Schwartz and Javon Phillips, Kemba's agents, basically begging Kemba to come take the Knicks money in free agency. That's probably been reported elsewhere. It's all running together right now. Apparently we've come a long way because according to Woj, Walker gets a dream homecoming. Dream, Jeremy. It was all a dream to Madison Square Garden to further solidify New York's backcourt. Well, he is New York's backcourt right now, at least at the point guard position. Kemba Walker and Derrick Rose on the same team. My goodness. Is it 2005? Well, no. Did they ever have a great year at the same year? I don't know. I'm getting off track. Jeremy, give me your instant reactions.
So I'll be honest. I last night I knew something was happening.
Say it.
Last night I knew someone told me something was happening with Kemba, and it was right before I started to go to bed. And I was thinking like, crap. Oh my God, the Knicks are gonna trade for Kemba. How's this gonna work with the math? And then this morning,
the math didn't work out.
It makes the math makes no sense. I was like, okay, is this a sign and trade? Is it gonna be multiple parts? And then someone else reached out to me to say the same thing, and I was like, okay, there's definitely something here. What's going on? And again, I was just nervous it would be a trade where the Knicks would be taking on this 2-year commitment of which is about $73 million or so.
74, yeah. And
they're not doing that, John.
Can I just say
they're signing Kemba Walker out of cap space. And the one big thing, and I admit I just tweeted this a few moments ago, but think about it like this. The Celtics traded 2 second-round picks for Evan Fournier and then dumped Kemba Walker's contract to take on Al Horford and send a first-round pick in this year's draft, the 16th pick. Yep. And the Knicks just signed both of those players for just money.
So I want to be clear about a couple things. One, if this free agency started out and the Knicks were conservative and the Knicks maybe, maybe they brought back Alec Burks or maybe they just signed Evan Fournier, didn't bring back any of those players. And then we were waiting and players were flying off the board and the Knicks were kind of taking the same approach they did last season, keeping the powder dry. And then all of a sudden, like the Timmy offer sheet hit 4 years ago, we got hit with the Knicks have traded a future protected second round pick for Kemba Walker. I would have been like, okay, maybe it works out, right? Because he hasn't been healthy. It's, if he can get healthy, it's not maybe a worthy gamble, but it's a gamble the Knicks probably needed to take. It's the most important position on the floor. They haven't gotten that position right in a sustainable way for, honestly, decades. So let's hope for the best. It's only 2 years. That's what I would have gone on here and said, right? I don't need to say that now. But the one thing I will say is, let's talk about Kemba and what this maybe means in a minute. But I also nobody should be sitting here and being like, oh, the Knicks are now a top 4 team in the East. Is it possible? I should step back. The Knicks were a top 4 team in the East. I think we're all under the presupposition that, Miami has improved. Atlanta is going to have, a full season kind of with their core and under this coach and the whole thing. Maybe there's another team that pops up. But I think now, we could at least feel like, okay, like there is a team here that, assuming Kemba is physically okay, if he's just okay, can compete against pretty much any team on any given night, as opposed to, I felt like so many nights last year, and there were times where you would, in some of those games where you're just like, yeah, the Knicks, there's a gap. There's a gap between them and the tippity top. And maybe some nights they would stay in until the end. This to me feels like if Kemba's right, they could at least be on that level more often than not. Where is it going to end up? Are they going to win a first-round playoff series? Are they automatically a top 6 team in the East? I'm not even prepared to say that. I hope so. But, it's can he stay healthy? Can he stay healthy? Can he stay healthy? But now at least that risk is minimized, because you're not talking about 2 years, $74 million. You're talking about, what do we think? They're just going to give him the rest of their money, right?
I would imagine. I mean, maybe, they could always cut Vildoza, actually, at this point. They could potentially, or they could try to dump his salary somewhere.
We hardly knew yet.
Right. Like, if they need to create more money than the $8 or so million that they have at their disposal, they could. It's probably going to offset with what the Thunder owe, because like he's gonna make that same money over the next 2 years. So it's possible the Knicks could get him still for super cheap. But this is a win. This is a huge win. I would not have been happy whatsoever if the Knicks took on Kemba's deal. I said a couple months ago, it stays consistent. I would have been really upset with the direction. It would have felt like kind of your Knicks of old, as you're saying, just the idea of, all right, great. So the Knicks are basically going after someone who has knee problems. His best days are probably in the rearview mirror, but he can still be good. And I mean, right now we're talking about, if Kemba Walker stays healthy, he is the best Knicks point guard that we have seen in, would it be fair to say, over 2 decades? Because I think it would be. I mean, that's just how bad everyone has been. And I mean, if your bar is like, what? Derrick Rose is the triangle year, which he was individually good, but the team wasn't. And so it didn't, and like he wouldn't shoot threes, and it was a mess. Raymond Felton for 1 year where he averaged double-double. And then it goes back, to like these individual seasons that just didn't really do much. But now it feels like there's a collective unit here. You can figure it out where if Kemba misses time because of an injury, you've got Derrick Rose there. If that still doesn't go right, then hey, you know how Emmanuel Quickley was on the team? That works too. And again, here's the other thing. As we've been saying, John, the Knicks clearly didn't view Emmanuel Quickley as a starting point guard, which is fine. They don't have to do that right now.
I'm not faulting them for that. And
me neither. But it just goes to show that, like he can come along on his own. And if he needs to fill in as that third point guard, which we saw last year, where he was like kind of not the emergency backup, that was probably Frank, but the backup's backup in that sense, that works. That's a good role for him, but he's going to get a ton of minutes anyway. And, with Schroeder, I could see, the potential argument of, is Schroeder really better than Quickley? No, but I think he was more further along with his development that it might have interested the Knicks. Now, I mean, there's no debate. It's Kemba Walker is a legitimate all-star who, again, just has to be healthy, and this could really take off.
So a couple things on that. We have seen on 2 straight teams now, the Chris Paul effect. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying Kemba Walker is Chris Paul. He's not. And for anybody who thinks like the Knicks that same thing is going to happen here, just calm your jets. But the notion, I mean, he was not healthy last year, and he was 19 points, 5 assists. And for a guy who wasn't healthy, 51.4 effective field goal percentage and 36% from deep on 8 attempts a game is not bad. Is he the distributor? Is he the floor general that that Paul or Chris Paul is? No, he's not. But again, I think the one thing that you've always heard about Kemba Walker is he's a gamer. And if there's one, not that I think Tom Thibodeau needed this confirmation or this affirmation to be able to know that, but his good buddy, Coach Kemba, down in Charlotte for a few years. And I'm talking about obviously Steve Clifford. So Steve Clifford could talk all up and down about what kind of a presence Kemba Walker is in the locker room, what kind of influence Kemba Walker is going to be on the Knicks young players, which they still have a few because they didn't need to trade any of them to make this happen. Which is the other major thing here. And then the last thing I want to say as I pull up our YouTube so I could get to our super chats, which I apologize we have been holding off until now. If it goes wrong, as we've already said, the downside risk is minimal. If it goes right and he looks like Kemba, and by the way, he's how old is he? I want to say he's 33.
Kemba?
He's 31.
No.
Excuse me.
31.
Christ,
Yeah.
He's 31 from the BX, baby. If he does look like Kemba, then all of a sudden you've added a guy who, even as recently as last season, people were like, can Kemba Walker be the third best player on a championship team? Yeah, he can. And then he wasn't healthy. Now you've added that. And you have Julius Randle. And you have all these kids. It opens up a lot of possibilities for, and again, I'm sorry, I'm already going to reference this. Now you make the star trade because you could feel a little bit more comfortable with what you have in the coffers. They needed to get lucky somewhere along the way. This is step one of getting lucky. The guy wanted to come here, and they've earned that. That's not luck. I shouldn't say. They've earned that. But step two is, can he look like himself? And should we anything else before we get to some of the super chats?
This is now one of the best contracts in the NBA. And a lot of this is probably because of CAA. Leon Rose helped secure a buyout. Of course, it's Kemba coming back. But the fact that the connections are there, and now we're looking at Kemba Walker on an insane contract where it doesn't take a whole lot for him to maximize out the value that you have. So
he's getting paid less than Nerlens Noel, Jeremy.
I know.
He's getting paid less than Nerlens Noel.
And I'll tell you what, John, look, the truth is the Knicks could still make a move. They could still do things other than this, which is just crazy stuff. But
it's a little while. Okay, some super chats. Colin, Loring. Knicks giving Kemba $8 million annually. I love it. CT Pittman. Wow. I think whoa is the only appropriate reaction. Jason M. Kemba is known as the ultimate locker room guy. He will fit the culture of this team perfectly. Can they use the room exception on Kemba? No, this is above the room exception. However, folks, they do still have the room exception. Now, the one thing I will note, potentially a small price to pay for this. If they do use all of their remaining cap space on Kemba Walker, they won't have any way to sign Deuce McBride to more than a 2-year contract, because that contract is probably going to need to come out of the room exception, unless I'm mistaken, Jeremy.
Yes, they could sign him to a minimum contract, which would be, it could be 3 or 4 years.
Oh,
when he's over when the Knicks are over the cap, they could do that.
Okay, so sorry,
which I expect them to do.
If he's amenable to that, then that's the way to do that. Yes, but great locker room guy, obviously. A massive part of this, because we've been talking about in defending their moves for the last several days, continuity and the juju, right? The vibes, all that stuff was very important here. And I think this maintains that. Listen, they're going to love playing with Kemba Walker, and I think Kemba Walker is going to love playing for Tom Thibodeau. Daniel Shapiro, my main man, Daniel, thank you for the contribution, buddy. Diddy coming home remix video for Kemba like Mello. I'm here for it. That gave me chills then. It would give me chills now. Hush Zoo. Yeah, Knicks versus Nets going to be real fun to watch this year. What's your guys' wins total prediction with Kemba now? Ooh, put me on the spot. I'll go 46. I'll go 46.
I was going to say 48.
Okay, somewhere in that. I mean, listen. Do you have any fucking idea how many wins 48 wins is? It's 2050.
I know it's a lot of wins. It could, but
I'll stick with 46, and even I think I'm probably going to be a little higher than some, because we should just, and this is a topic for another day. We'll go through at some point this summer, because or the rest of the summer, how the East team by team got. I mean, look, Mark Stein, I think, had it in his newsletter yesterday. The Eastern Conference is gone. There is no more Eastern Conference. And this actually goes even further towards that. There is no more Eastern Conference. So maybe, I don't know, maybe we get in the 4-5 again, win the first round series this time. Nets with a 1 seed. Yeah, I'm here for that playoff matchup. Alan Berman, best offseason since 98. Ooh. I'm trying to think of a better one, maybe 2012. But to me, bringing Kemba home without absorbing the contract plus Fournier retaining our guys is huge to me.
This is better than 2012 because in 2012, the Knicks basically amnestied Bullups to then bring in Tyson Chandler. This offseason, look.
No, well, that was 2011. That was 2011. 2012 was where they brought in all the old guys.
Right, because the NBA draft. Right, yes. But yeah, even then, it was like there weren't significant moves going on. It was good, but I mean, my God, I feel like even if you don't love some of the moves that the Knicks made this offseason, this team is unquestionably better. They have not relinquished any of their future assets, really. In fact, they've technically added to it. If you want to talk about the Hornets pick, again, this is having your cake and eating it too. Yeah. Being able to be a better team right now and the pathway to keep doing it moving forward, and then transition it to a team like the Bulls, where the Bulls just gave DeMar DeRozan 3 years and $85 million.
Oh my God, you took the fucking words out of my mouth.
Lonzo Ball, all this. They have like one first-round pick in the next 7 years. It's probably going to be 2028, and the Knicks have what, like 9 in their next 7 years?
Are we sure? This may be a hot take. I'm going to say it anyway. Are we sure that DeMar DeRozan is better right now than Kemba Walker? Because I'm not.
Well, he sure as fuck isn't when he's making like $23 million. Kemba Walker's making a third. He's making a third of what DeMar DeRozan's going to make. And the Knicks didn't have to sign and trade for him.
And Kemba Walker, again, big difference, is able to hit the old 3-point shot. I can't wait to see if he's healthy. That's the big thing for me. Stephen Weeks, home run off season. Now completely agree. I really don't know. Even if you doubt the health, which it's fine. If you want to doubt the health, I think that's a fair question mark. It's about the risk, and it's about the downside risk. I think. Hold on, John's math checks out. Andrew? What are you referencing there? All right, hold on. I'm going back up in the super chat. We got a couple more. Slacker Hero. The Knicks finally got lucky with a guy. Let's go. Again, you make your own luck. 1. And 2, you put yourself in a position to get lucky. The Knicks put themselves in a position to do this. I wonder, Jeremy Cohen, how long do you think this was in the works?
I think the Knicks looked at the market, and I think the Thunder probably were trying to shop Kemba as much as they could, and they knew they wanted to resolve something. And from Oklahoma City's perspective, they're probably thinking, look, we're not we can buy him out because we're not going to spend a lot of money this year anyway. We already got a first round pick that we then traded, right? Because I think that was the pick that they traded, or they added one, and then they got 2 second round picks from Houston.
Out of the deal, they got a pick.
So this contract, the way they're looking at it is Kemba Walker was a necessary means to an end, and if we let him walk right now, we are better set up for the future, and that works. So I mean that's the sort of thing where they're taking the next step. And let's also talk about this, right?
Thanks, Andrew.
this one past season where we talk about, it was a fluke and blah, blah, blah. Or if you want to discuss that, whatever. Here's the thing. I'm sure Kemba coming home was a big part of this, but Kemba wanted to come to the Knicks because the Knicks have been good. If the Knicks are dog crap, Kemba's not coming here. He's probably doing something like what every single person is doing with the Lakers.
Zero chance.
Right. So
hold on. I'm not saying money doesn't matter. Money matters a little bit. But do you think for a second that Kemba is coming to a team he doesn't feel good about the situation for an extra $3 million? Because that's the difference between what the teams that are still out there that have the taxpayer mid-level. He's not coming here for an extra $3 million. The man has made how many millions of dollars over the course of his career? He's done pretty well for himself.
And the non-taxpayer mid-level exception is $10 million. So if you're like a team like Dallas, right? And let's say you figured out a way to get Reggie Bullock into that TPE. God. And basically Kemba Walker
has that because if hold on. Dallas only has that if they didn't need it for Bullock, right? If it's a sign and trade, then they don't have it.
But my point here is that Kemba Walker could have gone to a team like Dallas.
Wait a minute.
And taken a non-taxpayer mid-level exception for $10 million. And instead, he's taking less money to come to the Knicks.
Hold on. I have I want to get through the rest of the super chats, and then I have a conspiracy theory. Slick Rich, adorable baby. Thank you. Slick Rich says you're adorable. What do you have to say about that? Nothing. Okay. Finally, Kemba's home. I certainly hope he stays healthy. Yes, as do we all. Robert Paris, what's going on, Robert? Don't play 7-card stud with Leon and Brock. And then Devin Connolly. Leon saw people clowning the front office moves on Twitter. Oh, my goodness.
She's excited.
Hold my gabagool. Great low risk, high reward move. Last thing, and then I think we may have an expiration date on this child. If the Knicks did not agree to sign and trade. Oh, Michael Aaron. Knicks are a good organization. I could try. Mr. Williams, my God. Thank you, everybody, for the super chat. 4 players on the floor who can only initiate the offense at the same time and a rim protector on both units. 48 wins. If the Dallas Mavericks had to sign Reggie Bullock using the exception as opposed to a sign and trade, didn't that prevent them from having that left to give to Kemba? Do you follow me here for a sec?
No, because the Knicks could have traded Reggie Bullock into the traded player exception.
I'm saying if they didn't agree to sign and trade Reggie Bullock, couldn't they have, by not agreeing to that, screwed the Mavericks over from being able to have the space to get Kemba?
Yes, they could have.
That's what I was trying to get out.
Yeah.
See? You just had to give me a second for that.
But yeah, I think we will have to wrap in a moment. We just got a few more other things. Expectations for RJ Barrett this upcoming season now with Kemba and Evan. Certainly a little bit higher now that he has a point guard who's not Elfrid Payton, and it's not going to mortgage whatever they're trying to do in the long-term future. Hopefully he still gets to play on ball, but now there's a little less pressure, right? He can still be wide open because if you're the opposing defense, now you have to pick between Kemba Walker, Evan Fournier, and RJ Barrett. And there's Julius Randle as well. So that's pretty crazy. So thank you, Dad, Kid, already 515. Mark Ham, I literally almost fell off a ladder when I checked my phone and saw this news. Yeah, I think that's accurate. That's how it feels.
Stay safe out there, folks.
David Dramoso, was this done after Nunn turned them down? Have to think so. Otherwise, I would imagine the Knicks wouldn't have been interested in Nunn. So yeah, John, this is incredible.
It's fantastic. Yeah, it pays to be better. So for anybody who was miserable about the offseason because the Knicks didn't take a chance on Keon Johnson, or because they didn't get, Malik Monk to take their remaining cap space, you could breathe easy now. And the very last thing I want to say is that I don't think by doing this trade, it means that the Knicks are going to suddenly abandon their pursuit of developing the young not pursuit of a star, one, but also their pursuit of developing the young players on this roster. I think they are going to try to have their cake and eat it too. And I think we'll see if it continues. But last year, I think we could say the development was good. It was good development that happened all around. If that can just continue at the same rate, and I honestly see no reason that it won't, because as of right now, Obi Toppin and Emmanuel Quickley are slated to get major minutes on this team. And I do also still think that there's a world where one of the two rookies, emerges. And like you said, there's always moves to be made. Mm-hmm. So maybe drafting Quentin Grimes wasn't about playing Quentin Grimes rotation minutes day one, but it was about knowing that if you do need to sell off some of these pieces in a bigger deal, you have someone ready to step in, and then you develop that person from the side. Last thoughts from you, Jeremy?
Yeah, this doesn't take anything away from what the Knicks want to do in the future. Nope. It's not a desperate win now move. It's just a win now move. It's something that will help the Knicks. The Knicks are one of the deeper teams in the NBA. They don't have the star power quite like a lot of the other teams, but Kemba Walker into the mix, adding him, injecting this, that certainly helps you get there. It's the perfect buy low opportunity. Never in my wildest dreams would I have thought that you could just get this type of deal, but that just goes to show what the Knicks are building. And it's been like that from day one of this Leon Rose regime. And I'm just so thrilled. I'm curious to see what happens next as well, because as we said, I can't see Knox getting any time. Who knows about Vildoza? We'll see. Maybe the Knicks try to do something, but bravo to them. Man, I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm really excited.
Today's the day to be excited as a Knick fan. Andrew, Claudio, unless there's anything from you, I think we're going to get out of here.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
That was fun. Over 1,100 people strong in the chat. Just thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Shout out to Jeremy for the great reporting. And Cardiac Kemba is returning to Madison Square Garden. What a morning it's been.
One last thing.
God.
After playing his career in Charlotte, not trying to throw any shade, but Charlotte, and then going to Boston, where some interesting relationships with those fans. If you don't think that you watchers and listeners had a little something to do with this trade, because Kemba Walker wanted to come and play in front of these fans in this building and help rebuild this history, where nobody in the entire basketball watching universe loves their team like we do, because what other fucking Looney Tunes stop what they're doing in the middle of the day to come on here and talk about, a buyout and a signing? It's just us, guys. It's just us. So pat yourselves on the back. This is a hell of a day, and we'll be back with you for more coverage of this before you know it. Bye.